All right, everyone, welcome back. We are here for Volume 6 of the 90 Degree Show. We have a special guest with us checking in, owner, founder, and editor of BlockUsUp.com band blog, Ernest Stackhouse. What's going on tonight, man?
What's up? Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks again. Another one of our beloved sponsors here to give some analysis about our beloved craft. So let's go ahead, y'all mute our microphones, and let's go ahead and get started with the show.
Welcome to the 90 Degree Show, the sports center for college marching bands where we recap the ultimate battles from this weekend. And now, here's our host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Your microphones. Welcome and greetings this evening to the 90 Degree Show, and happy to be of service for you guys tonight. This is Joe Beard, and I am your host. We appreciate all those listening through iTunes, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, our website, our blog, or wherever you are on the interwebs. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. Tonight's show is brought to you by Block Band Music and Publishing, SAY Marketing and Promotions, BlockUsUp.com, Kevin Peete of Remax Patriots, and SmokeeOs BBQ with my man Thomas. So SmokeeOs BBQ. So we hope you enjoy the show. All right. So I'll get into our introductions. Ladies first, of course. I want to say good evening to the magnificent Marching Machine alumni going to the Macy's Day Parade here in the holiday season. Miss Bridget Bell, how you doing in this podcast?
I'm doing great, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good. Glad you guys with me. I think I hear some feedback. Is there something? Is something muted? I think we gotta mute something. I hear some feedback. Okay. All right, that's better. Bet. Right.
That's better?
Yeah, that's better. Okay, that's better. And, again, like we say, our guest, another one of our beloved sponsors. You guys have seen the BlockUsUp Band Blog commercial. And you guys, in that very clip, hear a little South Carolina State. You know what I'm saying, in the background. A little Marching 101. But my man, Ernest Stackhouse, how you doing tonight, man?
What's up, Joe? Glad to be here, bro. Finally.
I know. I sure appreciate it having you on. And we know we're definitely going to be doing the Chopping It Up interviews. I just got backtracked this past summer with all of that. But I'm glad to have you on the show tonight. Rashad couldn't make it, so shout out to Rashad. Shout out to Hampton. Shout out to all those folks. And, again, welcome. So tonight we are going to talk about a couple of programs. One is we're talking about Central State. Shout out to Brother Key, Ramon Key. He is the director there at Central State, and I met him, man, I don't even know how many years ago it has been now, but we met at a Battle of the Bands out here in California for high schools, and he was one of the judges. He was sitting next to Sheila E., y'all. And I got to say what's up to him. I was like, what's up, man? What's up, man? And then just over the years, I've, with social media and all of that stuff evolving, I've been keeping up with him. And I was like, hey, man, I was the dude you saw at the fair out there in California. So we've kept up over the years. And I wanted to do more Central States, but, up there in the Midwest, not as many videos come out with them. But shout out to Terrell Williams, the owner of Chicago Band Heads. He was able to make the video for the show. So he'll probably be covering more of those Midwest bands. So shout out to Brother Williams, and shout out to everybody there at Central State. It was their homecoming this weekend, so we'll dive into that. And we'll talk about another good SIAC matchup with Miles and Kentucky State. So we've been talking about Miles throughout the years, but I think we all said that Kentucky State was on the come up. So I'm definitely interested to talk about them tonight and see how they showed up there. It was their homecoming too. So shout out to them. It was Jackson State's homecoming, y'all. So let me go ahead. Let me give Jackson State a round of applause. There you go. Excited about that. And Bridget, I thought about you because I caught some of their show, and they did a tribute show to Aretha Franklin. So I have to.
I know you just loved that, didn't you, Joe?
Yeah, I have to readjust what I said about tribute shows, but that's good because I saw Jackson.
Wait a minute. What did you say about tribute shows?
Okay, so I think episode 3, I basically felt I just had an inkling, right, where if a certain band is coming to town, or if you about to match up with somebody, if you a little worried about the competition, sometimes I feel that sometimes directors might do like a tribute show, like a gospel show, or like, shout out to Michael Jackson. When it's like, they're not going to boo you or be critical, when on the other side it's like, Smith coming to town. Just like Smith. Let's say, SC State, you know what I'm saying? We roll up to Smith and y'all was scared of Smith, and let's say y'all did a Jesus show. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if that was real. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of felt like that. But then Bridget said that the Boom last week or a couple weeks ago did a tribute to HBCUs, and they just did a tribute to Aretha Franklin. So I got to adjust that.
They having a tribute season.
Yeah, they did like were they the band that did the Greek tribute?
Yeah, that was them.
Yeah, okay.
That was them.
Okay.
So yeah. They wasn't scared of nobody. I'm just trying. I figured out. I'm gonna work on my
fix
theory.
it up now. He's trying to fix it up.
I'm gonna work on my theory and let y'all know.
Yeah, you go ahead. Work on that theory. Let us know what you come up with.
But I at least thought about you to say it out loud, Bridget. I was like, man, I thought about me. I'm just gonna keep it real. I'm gonna tell Bridget what I saw this weekend. But yeah, it was the whole Aretha show too. Like every breakdown was like in 1985 she did it. I was like, damn. So yeah. But shout out to Jackson State.
Mississippi Valley? Who they play, Valley?
Yeah, Valley. So we know it wasn't no they wasn't scared of
Right.
Valley. You know what I'm saying? They probably they didn't have nothing else going on. But shout out to the Boom. Shout out to the Boom for the tribute show. The tribute show is great. All right, y'all. So let's do the first commercial real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about Central State. And again, I appreciate you guys being on with me tonight. And we try to move it along so we don't have like a 2-hour show. You know what I'm saying? So we'll go ahead and move it along. But go ahead and mute your microphones. Again, thanks for listening. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show. This is Volume 6, and we'll be back to talk about Central State. Thanks for listening.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
Hi, this is Thaddeus Dixon, Crab of 94 on the Sonic Boom of the South, graduate of Jackson State University, class of 2000. And you are listening to the 90 Degrees Show at the Marching Podcast Network.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, you guys can unmute the microphone. Coming back from commercial here. Thanks again for our beloved sponsors for all of your things that you do. All right, y'all. So Central State, Marching Marauders. It was their homecoming. I don't know who they played off the top of my head, but I was really excited to see them. Like I said, I've been trying to get them on the show a lot, but excited just because I'm from the Midwest myself, and any other HBCUs above the Macy-Dixon line got to represent for them, you know. So shout out to Central State, and shout out to Brother Key. I'll ask you. So Ernest, I'll ask our guest, Ernest. What did you think of Central State's halftime show, man?
I was real impressed, man. I'm currently working on a little article about small bands that are, you know, doing really good this year. Central State is one of them. KSU is another one. Kentucky, and Savannah State. So all those bands is below a 96 block or right at a 96 block. Really, those are the bands that have been the most exciting this year to me. You know, and you know, sometimes it goes that way. Sometimes the smaller bands kind of snatch the attention away from those bigger groups because it's such high expectations for those bigger groups. But I think DCU is cursed with that, actually. But yeah, Central, I was impressed with their show. The ballad went a little too long for me, but I understood that it was their homecoming.
Right.
But you know, the show overall, they had a nice sound, nice dance routine, not dance routine, but nice drill and nice the girls did okay. The arrangements I wasn't too crazy about, but the sound of the band I enjoyed.
Okay. Yeah, I know that that was the big thing for me that jumped out is, you know, it's a smaller band, you know, so but they came with a good sound. So, you know, I was cool with that. It's hard to have trumpets though. I guess that's like standard, like just dominant trumpets with a dominant line. So they didn't have that, but it felt like they played together really well.
Oh yeah, they were balanced. They were nice. They had a nice balance on cohesive ensemble sound. You know, it was just that I think the arrangements could have made it that much better. And when I compare them to bands like KSU or Savannah State, who have excellent arrangers, that's what really give them those bands I guess the heads up over them is just the arrangements. You know, and a lot of times that can make the difference.
Okay. I gotta ask you, man. You gotta scoot over to your left again, cause we got half of you. There you go. There you go. Yeah, cause we had half of you talking in there. Okay. So that's what's up, man. So I guess you bring up some really good bands that I like. I like Savannah State. You know what I'm saying? Bowie was kind of good a couple years ago. But even Morgan, too. We saw Morgan last week or a couple weeks ago, and they did a good job. So that's what's kind of attractive. What'd you say?
I said, yeah, Morgan is doing really good this year. And like I said, I guess I'm a fan of the underdog. You know, I like these small bands this year.
Yeah, like me, too. Because, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know I can't go too much into it. We don't want to waste too much time. But Ernest went to South Carolina State, and I went to Johnson C. Smith. You know what I'm saying? I was like the greatest time of my life, man. But yeah, they slept on us. You know what I'm saying? So I totally understand the small band, you know. But man, it's also feel good to be in the big band too, where you know what I'm saying where you deep. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up, man. So did you have anything else to say about Central?
Who does their arrangements? Do you know?
I know. I think that I talked to Brother Key, and he said he was basically by himself right now. So I don't know if he's doing the drill and he's doing the writing. I'm not sure.
That's like the missing piece with them. I think if they got a great arranger or an in-house arranger, someone who just does their writing, I think their program will just take off.
Yeah, that's what's up. Bridget, what did you think about Central State?
Yeah, I agree with Ernest there. I think for the size of the band, I think last week we talked about small bands, and I like good small bands. Everyone doesn't have to have a 200-300 piece band, but you have to know what you're working with, and you have to work with that well. And with that said, I thought if I look at their drilling, I thought their drilling they designed their drill around the fact that they had a smaller instrumentation. I thought they drilled well. For the most part, I thought they played well. They didn't try to overplay. You know, you didn't have that one player really, really sticking out throughout. But there was some parts of the arrangements that were lacking. And that's kind of, you know, arrangers have to consider the size of the ensemble when they are arranging. So I'm at the point where, you know, I'll have somebody ask them, hey, can you write such and such for my band? They'll be like, oh, what's your instrumentation? I'll kind of tell them. And some arrangers have just a certain way that they arrange, and they don't really consider, hey, you know what? She has this instrument, but she only has this many flutes, this many whatever. So what can I do with that to fill the sound? And I think Rashad and I kind of talked about that last week as well. And so that's a consideration when arrangers, you know, are arranging. You have to consider the size of the ensemble, where the strengths are, and all those kind of things. And so I think that's what was really lacking with Central State. You know, I struggle with small bands that have 3 and 4 drum majors. I really do. That's just, you know, band director's choice. Man, I'll put them jokers on the instrument so fast. I'm just, let me tell you, we might not even have a dance line. Everybody gonna play an instrument. No, I'm only kidding. Really,
I'm the same way.
Yeah,
I'm the same way. And large drum lines. Large drum lines.
Absolutely. That large, super large drum lines. Who did we watch the other week that had that big old drum line?
Lane, I think. Well, I think it was Lane. I think they had a lot of snare. I remember Lane had a lot of snares.
Was that who was playing Hampton?
Lane, yeah, Lane.
Yeah. So the small bands with the, you know, everybody comes in wanting to play percussion, but there has to kind of be a cap. And then at some point you got to kind of encourage kids. Hey, you ever tried horn? You ever tried, you know, trombone? Let me try you on some different things. And so I struggle with bands that have 3 and 4 drum majors. And I get it. We do this branding thing. And some of it just, you know, some people just like the look of having 3 or 4 drum majors, where sometimes it just doesn't really make great sense. I think, so my philosophy of drum majors are really different. They're there to help lead and conduct the band. And look, I don't need 4 people conducting 20 people. That doesn't just make sense to me. As a matter of fact, when you get down to certain number sizes, I say give the band director a whistle and put them all in there. But that's just that's just me. I know that's just me. But overall, I thought Central State had I thought they had a nice presentation. I would like to see them matched up against somebody. It's hard to really tell because when it's a band by themselves, very few bands know how to really get up and get excited when it's just them there. And I think a sign of a good band is being able to perform well, no matter who's in front of you. But I like to see them with somebody else in front of them to see what kind of energy you get from the band. If there's a difference in the style and some other things. So I like to see them matched up. What conference are they in? Are they independent?
That's a good question. I want to say they're SIAC. I want to say that they are, but I'm not sure. I'm really not. Y'all in the chat room. All the folks in the chat room. Shout out to the people in the chat room.
Somebody in the chat room. Tell somebody look it up.
I'm about to say, yeah, somebody check that out for us.
Somebody said Homecoming was epic. Oh, that she's from.
She's Jack State. Yeah, that's Andrew Snell. Shout out to Crab 87, I believe. So yeah, shout out to her. Yeah, we deep.
I see you. Yeah, somebody figure that out. What conference they're in? I think they're independent. I think they're falling in line with like Hampton and Tennessee State and them, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I know Morgan played them. My sophomore year, we played Central State. And it's great to see that program kind of want to come up because at one point, I'm pretty sure like they shut the team down and the band and some other things for a while. If I'm somebody, I stand corrected if somebody can let us know if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. So we played them. My sophomore year was like 96, 97. We played them at Ohio State. And it was some kind of a classic. And the numbers were up. You know, they had 150, close to probably 200 people. Nice sized band, sounding great or whatever. But then they had something happen. I know something happened there because they had Tau Beta Sigma Kappa Kappa Psi. And I want to say their chapters were inactive for a minute too. And I want to say it was something financial, maybe with the team. So it's great to even see them on a comeback. That's my whole point. Right. And as we look at bands, you know, we kind of talk about that. We see small bands, but we don't always know their story. So whatever their story is, I appreciate the product that they're putting out there. You know, Central State, good job. Keep up the good work. It's nice to see bands in the Midwest kind of bring it up. It's hard when you're on the East Coast. And when you're on Midwest, it's hard. It's not band territory. It's hard. People don't realize that. You know, you're pulling from hardly anything. So I'm really pleased when I see bands you talk about that Mason-Dixon line, whatever, Ohio River area, wherever you are, we're able to put up, a nice little product on the field.
All right, so we got too much feedback. Somebody gotta like mute something because it's throwing
Yeah, if it's
everything.
playing out, you gotta mute it or put the headphones in.
Or yeah. All right, I think that's better. Yeah, I don't hear anything now. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. The number one thing that jumped out to me about Central was somebody in the chat room said that they're independent. Um, but their drill was really really good. Like that, the biggest thing, and I think the camera angle of where and shout out to Chicago band heads. They're the one Terrell is the one who filmed. So he was like at the perfect angle for like their size and for like the formations they did. But they were really, really precise. So that's like my number one thing is like how a band looks, how precise they are. And they were that drill was really good. Now, another thing that's like their signature is they do a drill and it's basically like a drill written for like a huge like piece band, like Alabama State size or Alabama A&M or like Jackson State. So they do like a lot of pinwheels, a lot of step twos and all that stuff, but they seem to have enough people to get it done. So if you guys check out, the link is in the episode description. If you guys, anybody sees that, I thought that Central did a good job. Brother Key did a good job of just having them on the field and having it look really good. It's probably one of the better drills I've seen from a band that size. Because, you can only do so much with someone that size. So, yeah, like you said, Bridget, I want to see them like against somebody. So I'm going to be looking out for them again. It is hard in the Midwest. Growing up in St. Louis, you were definitely like a band geek in St. Louis. Like, what are you talking about bands, So then I used to go around and be like, oh, well, my dad went to a black college and they be dancing and stuff. And people still wasn't really feeling it back then until St. Louis. And then I think the Gateway Classic started in St. Louis. And then that's when more people started getting like, oh, black colleges are cool. Like, but like it wasn't like that before.
Yeah.
And I think it was Alcorn. I believe it was Steve McNair. Because you remember they were like really, really good back then. So I think they came and played Kentucky State or something like that in St. Louis. And a lot of black people were like, dude, you see the band? They was playing stuff on the radio. And I was like, yeah, well, I try to tell y'all, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's hard up there in the Midwest. And then, nobody else is around. So Wilberforce and Central State is the only ones that's up there, huh? Yeah.
Well, and they're not far. So here I go with some terrible geography. So Central State they're where? Ohio?
Yeah.
They're Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole Ohio.
Yeah.
But they're still not far from that region where like Kentucky State and them are. Am I right?
Right.
They're not too far from there.
Yeah, just the state above. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah, they got a few bad heads out there. It's just not. Of course, it's not the same as the Southeast.
Right.
But
it ain't the same. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of scattered. It kind of remind me of the Chicago scene. It's like it's a few high schools out there that's representing, but it's not like it is in an Atlanta situation.
Right. Yeah, we try. You know what I'm saying?
Things like the Circle City Classic has helped too. That's had a long-standing history out in that Midwest area. Mm-hmm. So the Circle City Classic, I know that was real beneficial. But you have them programs that come like out of Detroit and some other, there's some schools up in that area that kind of, their directors are able to maintain that HBCU style. So you kind of get it, but it's not a major area up there for that HBCU band look.
Yeah, shout out to the Circle City Classic. That was one of the games that we could go to in St. Louis. Indianapolis was 4 hours from me, and we would go to Memphis to see the Southern Heritage because that was like 4 hours too. So, and then if somebody came to the Windy City Classic, we got to check that out. But yeah, that was as to the extent that we could go. You know what I mean? So yeah, but he even kind of expressed that, you know, it's more difficult. And then I think I laughed with him. I talked to him and I said, man, what's up with LeBron James? LeBron James doing all this stuff, you know, he building schools, man. LeBron, he should have decked Central out by now. Like they band should just like be off the hook because of LeBron. But you know what I'm saying, we gotta holler at him or something. He out here now though. You know what I'm saying? That's a different podcast.
He's where?
At L.A. He out here on the West Coast.
Yeah, L.A. Lakers. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, y'all come on down for the championship. They probably gonna win it this year. You know what I'm saying? Them and the Rams.
I'm gonna check them out when they come out here to Houston. So.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be dope. That's gonna be dope. All right, y'all. So anything else to say about Central State? I think we all gave them a thumbs up. They look really good. But yeah, you're doing a great job, Brother Key. Give me a round of applause. We definitely try to hopefully get them on the show again, for them in a matchup against somebody. All right, y'all. Just moving right along. Looking good. Let me go ahead and go to the second, because, you know, we got a couple sponsors now. So let me go to the second sponsor. Have y'all mute your microphones, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about, oh, Lord, I'm about to say Lane and Hampton. Who were the people we talking about this week? Oh, Miles.
Get it together.
My bad. Miles and Kentucky State, they had a halftime, and they also had a fifth. So we'll go ahead and get that information. I'll probably play two sponsors here on this break. So you guys mute your microphones. We'll be right back with the 90 Degree Show, talk about the Marching Thoroughbreds and the Purple Marching Machine. I said Purple Marching Machine and the Marching Thoroughbreds. When we come back, y'all.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
The source for fair and factual information on your favorite college bands, BlockUsUp.com. Well-written articles, in-depth band performance analysis, helpful resources for band directors, fun band-related topics, and exclusive interviews with some of today's brightest and most talented leaders of college marching bands. Visit us at BlockUsUp.com, the meeting place for band fans and band directors.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, you guys can unmute your microphones. I'll probably get more of those sponsors in on the next break. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Our featured matchup tonight, which was Kentucky State and Miles, two programs that we hadn't talked about Kentucky State too much, but Miles is definitely a fan of the show. Shout out to Brother Snipes and the Miles Purple Marching Machine. I didn't know Brother Snipes is now the headband director. Is that correct, Bridget?
Yeah, he's the headband director.
Okay, yeah, he's the headband director. I think when I first did the show with him, we chopped it up with Brother Snipes. I think he was the assistant director, I think, at the time. But now I heard the guy over the speaker say headband director, Willie Snipes Jr.
He's headband director for a little while now.
I figured that. It seemed like it.
He's been there for a minute now.
Yeah. So really excited about them because I like how, you know, they basically started from the bottom, you know what I'm saying? Just like we kind of the same theme with the small bands. That was Ty, wasn't it, Bridget? I see.
Yeah, I thought you was about to say. I thought you was about to go. But go ahead. I thought you was about to stop.
I was thinking about it because you know what I'm saying. But yeah, that was really cool to see them. But we also talked about Kentucky State. So I was excited to see this matchup, and I was excited to see it. So I'm going to let you guys start out with it. Bridget, what did you think about the halftime show matchup between two schools?
Okay, so this is interesting. You don't want our guest to go first?
Oh, I need him to.
You want me to go? It doesn't matter. I can go, but I just wanted to.
Yeah, I did him on the last one, so I was gonna let you go first this time.
All right, I got it. All right, so let's talk. Well, I'll start by talking about K-State a little bit. So I saw K-State earlier this season when they did the Battle of the Bands with Talladega and maybe Central State might have been there. It was a high school battle of the bands out in Ohio. And boy, K-State, when I say they turned it up for this battle of the bands, and I know we're not talking about that now, but that's going to kind of lead me to where I'm going. Like solid, like their drill was good, they sound good. Best, I'm not a dance routine person. Everybody know that. And I'm kind of over dance routines because I feel like it's all the same and nobody really sells them well. And boy, K-State sold the heck out of that dance routine they did at this battle of the band. So then we have the homecoming band, which we saw yesterday. And I call it homecoming band because this is what I'm noticing. When it's whoever it is, when it's their homecoming, you're not going to see the real band during the game for the most part. And so people are like, oh, no, that's an excuse. It's not really an excuse, just being on the other side of it. And all of us know how it is. Homecoming week is busy. You got coronations, you got pep rallies, you got rehearsals, you got this, you got a parade you did, you got a game. And by the time you get to that game, and especially at fifth quarter, the band is tired. And you know they partied already, probably the night before, so they're going to be dog tired. So I feel like I saw the true K-State this weekend. We're getting that feedback again.
Yeah, you hear that? Yeah, it's too hard. Yeah,
I don't feel like we're getting the true K-State. I don't think that's who we saw this weekend because I've seen them better, just to be quite honest, than we saw them yesterday. And they weren't horrible yesterday, so I don't want it to kind of come off as they were horrible, but they weren't on 100 like I've seen them like at that Battle of the Bands. So it's funny. The first thing I noticed is the fact that the stadium has like a high school kind of look to it. I don't know why I noticed things like that first, but I do. I was like, wow, they're marching on grass and mud. Like, I haven't seen people march on grass and mud. You know, in most bands, these kids don't know how to march on grass and mud. I think me and Snipes was talking about, I don't know if somebody had a fall or something. I was like, these kids, they used to march it on turf, and they're not used to that. So it's so funny to see that. But that stadium, we need a little work, K-State. We need a little work on. We need a little work on that. So, they came out on a cadence in their drill. So homecoming, we don't have a lot of time already. So intentional planning of shows, I think, is so important. And why bands are still cadencing onto the field to get into their formation. I'm like, man, you just wasted like a whole 2 minutes just marching out there. And nothing's really happening. So I'm not a big fan of the marching to a cadence and stopping and then starting your show. And then the drum majors did this tuck and roll thing. They did this tuck and roll. I call it the tuck and roll entrance. You know how it was in elementary school? You used to go on the mat. They'd be like, okay, tuck, and you did a roll. I was like, did they really just tuck and roll in their hat? But they did tuck and roll. Whew. The drum major thing is interesting. And Joe, you know how I was talking about, I hate to know that I have a female drum major. To see it, I see it with them. I was just like, oh, they got a female drum major. I don't want my female drum majors to look like dancers. So we have to be careful in our movement, our body gyrations, everything, that it's rigid enough that you shouldn't really be able to distinguish, oh, that's the female drum major right there. And you can kind of tell with them. I actually took notes this go around. Their opening I thought was pretty good, but they just had to really work on singing together. They had some really cool little passages, some runs and some other things, but it wasn't really in sync. The articulation wasn't the same, so it's kind of a little bit, all over the place. And once again, you got a band that's probably, I'm sure they're tired. But either way, just attention to detail, and even like the call and response passages that they had. Here we go, arranging for the small band kind of thing. When you're doing those call and response kind of things, passages, when you're arranging, it doesn't really work well when you have like 10 trombones responding to one trumpet, or one trumpet responding to 10 trombones. It really doesn't work well. So just being really attentive in our arranging, whoever's arranging for them, have to be careful of things like that. And the one player shouldn't have to try to overcompensate for the others that are not there. If you have one or two, play within your range, play within your dynamic level, but don't try to overdo it. The dancers I thought were okay. Once again, I saw them better. I've seen them better on the field. They were okay. They looked a little tired, and they don't like they were dancing full out. So dancers, no, I'm not a dancer. Don't even pretend to be. I'm a tuba player. But I don't even pretend to be. But I know dancers do this thing where they dancing full out or they're not. It doesn't like they didn't like they were dancing full out. That's like when they kind of go through the motions. It felt like they were kind of going through the motions for most of it. And And so dancers was okay, but I've seen them kind of peak, and we got, we have to have that endurance to kind of get it regardless. Everything that happened, homecoming, we still have to put on a great show. Let's see. Flag routine I thought was okay. I think they did the Beyonce 1+1, which is so funny. I think that was the first time I really paid attention to that song. It sounds a lot like that song, I'm Going Down. I'm Going Down. It sounds like that. I'm surprised that hasn't kind of come up before. But one thing I have to suggest to the color guard is, so their colors is green. Your field is green. We lost a lot of the color guard work because they're working with green flags against green uniforms on a green field. So really, that blend of green really didn't work out, and flag lines have to really work to enhance the show. So colors, vibrant colors, whatever's going on, the field that you're trying to get, they have to look at changing flags out. But the routine kind of was a bit of a struggle routine. If you did a freeze frame, I did a freeze frame of the color guard when they were performing. And if you would freeze the frame, everybody's doing different things at different points, and I don't think that was the intent. Like the flags were at different positions and whatever. It didn't like they really knew the routine very well. I call it the struggle routine. You know how you have struggle meals, you hungry, you just kind of grab what you can. It felt like a kind of like a struggle routine. And again, going on to the dance routine, I've seen them sell a dance routine well. That dance routine, I don't think they really sold as well. It was okay, but let me tell you what totally distracted me. So at one point, the drum majors took off their hats, they tried to march out of the hats, which it's funny to me when band members act like they marching hard and they really kind of shake their hat off or whatever, the shake off. And you're like, he wasn't dancing that hard or whatever. So the drum major did this whole thing. And so, but the one drum major kicks the shake-o. And when I tell you I was distracted for the rest of the show, I was like, did you just kick that hat? Maybe because I'm a band director and I know the cost of things, and it just looked bad. I'm like, if you're going to take the shake-o off, take it off, give it to one of the dancers, put it somewhere, but don't kick the thing across the field. It was kind of distasteful. With that said, K-State, I didn't really feel like they had a great halftime. For whatever reason, I've seen them better, and they're definitely on my come up small bands list. Like, yeah, I've been feeling them since, they did one of the Mardi Gras parades. I saw them or something. I was like, okay, K-State kind of has been holding their own. But this representation of them really just wasn't that great of a representation of them. I'm going to pause at K-State. You want me to talk about everybody, or you want to pause and talk about K-State, Joe?
Ernest, what do you think about K-State?
Well, I was impressed with their sound. Just like Bridget was saying, they're one of my favorite small bands. And Bridget, I didn't know you was a tuba player. That's what's up. I'm a tuba player.
Yeah.
Joe, you outnumbered on this feed.
I know, right?
Yeah. I was impressed with their sound. I kind of questioned Beyonce for Homecoming. I'm like, was that a good choice? I mean, I know they're trying to cater to the old crowd and the new crowd, and Beyonce might be able to span generations like that, but I wouldn't have chosen Beyonce for Homecoming. They did a Beyonce theme, a Beyonce show. And when you go that deep into Beyonce, she don't got the ballads like that. So that choice with the concert selection, the ballad, that was a bad choice. I would have changed it up on that one. I would have went with something else, maybe another soulful singer. It would have been a good time to throw it in an Aretha joint up in there or something.
Watch out, a little tribute or something. Watch out now.
That was a tribute show though, Joe. They did a whole Beyonce joint.
Yeah,
that was a tribute.
And Jay was in there too. They had a little Jay-Z thing in there too. So yeah, you're right. It was.
The whole Beyonce thing. I guess it was the Carters. It was the On the Road theme or something. I don't know. But I wasn't feeling that for Homecoming. But the drill, the drill was really simple. They did a lot of collapsing and expanding the same formation and a lot of floating pictures. I wasn't impressed by that. The flag line, I was impressed by the girls. They were up front, and the music sounded really good, and you know that I don't know too much about flags, but with me, I'm like Bridget. As long as they on the right count, I'm good. All my girls, I used to say, hey, wherever that pole is supposed to be on what number, you know, I don't know what the move is called, but I know if it's supposed to be on that number or not. And if it's not on that number, you know, I know it's wrong. So yeah, they had some issues at certain moments, but I thought overall they did a good job, and the dancers and whatnot. I just didn't like the ballad, and that kind of soured it for me. And the fact that the simple drill they did, I can understand it's homecoming. And if I'm going to be honest, you know, when I was in school at the South Carolina State University, most of our homecoming shows were whack. Just like Bridget was saying, man, you know, you don't do your best on homecoming. You know, it's like it's always overdone. The ideas are always too big for what it needs to be. You know, people trying to overthink a homecoming in the planning committee, and it just never comes together right. All my 5 years at State, man, I can't ever remember having just the bomb homecoming show. But this one didn't impress me either. You know, yeah. K-State, they're one of my favorite small bands, though, and they had a really good sound, on the field sound. And I didn't notice, you know, that they came on after Miles, and I didn't notice that much a difference in sound, you know, as far as sound quality and volume. Right. And I was impressed by that.
I was just about to say that. That was my biggest thing, where they play with dynamics too. So like they did a good job of like coming in quieter, so there was like a contrast later on.
Right.
So they did a good job with that. That was the biggest thing that I jumped out. But yeah, I thought that they were really good. Like I said, I think that we've been talking about Kentucky State for a while. So I was excited to see them. Their drill was safe. You know, it was all right.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, I'm a drill person, so I really like, especially after seeing what Central did. Like, I really like seeing what they did. So I felt like Kentucky State could have done something similar, but I still like that they kept it safe. There was like one formation, and then that formation was able to go into circles. And they went in circles a couple times, and then they went back and they went to the circles again. So if there was like a degree of difficulty, it was between that. So I thought it was a decent drill. But yeah, that was the biggest thing that jumped out to me was the sound. Like, they were just like coming with it. So I was just like, wow, way to go to Kentucky State. I felt like that they started wearing down, and I'll get into that more when we talk about the fifth. But I could tell that I don't think they were able to maintain that throughout the whole day. And y'all have kind of hit it on the head already about homecoming and everybody doing something. And I know we had the Panty Raids the night before, so I was tired of my homecoming performances. Well, was I not supposed to? Wait, was I not supposed to?
Oh, wait. It's a family show.
My bad, y'all. Hold on, let me.
This ain't a Panty Raids. Oh, have mercy. Get him together. Like, for real, Joe.
But when you guys were talking about being tired, that's
why they're tired, because of the Panty Raids. Is that what it is?
Well, we were. I mean, we at our time, the first couple years, we didn't do it. I didn't do it all the years. But yeah, it was crunk. Because I mean, y'all know they were not playing going up in the girls' dorms at black colleges. I don't think they don't play that now. We don't do co-ed dorms or nothing like that, right? I don't think it none of it.
Man, we were tired because we had rehearsal the night before. The alumni used to be out on the field. That's why we were tired. I don't know about no daggone Panty Raids.
Hey, Bridget, that came after all the old heads was getting on us about everything. That was the worst part. The old heads come back to y'all slack. Y'all ain't as tough as we were.
Old heads, man.
Friday night lights, everybody coming out talking. You just go out and do your thing. And boy, I had the nerve to pledge Tau Beta Sigma during the fall. Ooh, buddy. All the alumni came back, so you got to meet everybody. And boy, we was up and we was tired meeting and greeting.
It's funny you say that because now I don't know. I think Jackson State still does it, but when I was there, they changed the whole MSP process, so there aren't any fall lines at Jackson State anymore, and they adjusted the GPA because it's 2.275. So, yeah, brothers was struggling. Brothers was like, oh, man, I need to start going to class. You know what I'm saying? So I can pledge. Yeah. All right. So that's what's up, y'all. I don't want to get too far off. But no, I enjoy Kentucky State a lot. I just I wanted to see more with the drill. I don't know how I feel. I'm going to guess I asked y'all two directors and everything. How do y'all feel about coming off the show, like, at the end? You know how a lot of bands now are like marching to the sideline and then they're like opening up at the end of the sideline.
Blowdown.
Yeah,
sideline
right.
blowdown.
Okay. So some people march to the sideline and other people kind of like walk and do. Kentucky State kind of like did their thing. Like everybody just kind of get there and they kind of like walk. Some people like jumped and all that. Do you guys like that, or do you still think that they should be marching to the sideline? Ernest, what you think, man?
It's a time and place for it. Like if you just did a kick-ass show and you would just tore it up and the crowd is going crazy, I don't mind the skipping and hopping to the sideline blowdown. You know, because everybody's crunk, everybody's turned, it's about to go down. But if you did just a run-of-the-mill show, and then you relying on that sideline blowdown to save the day, and then you skip it and hop into it like it's something good. Nah, you done lost me with
that. Bridget, what you think? What you think of the sideline blowdowns?
Yeah, it can become a gimmick. You know how I feel about gimmicks. You know, gimmicks are for bands who suck. So you can't use the sideline blowdown to kind of save your slaw show. If your show is slaw, then the sideline blowdown is not going to help you. But I believe in intentional show planning. So every aspect of it has to be really intentional. So when you finish a show and everybody, we're just going to go on the side, we're just going to play this, and that's the end of it. It's not really as effective as if it's planned out and it fits with what you're doing. Usually, most of the sideline blowdown used to be like the end of your dance routine, and it was written into it. So they would finish your dance routine as they're coming off the field, and it's the sideline blowdown. Now it's becoming something else. Like it's a thing now. The fact that we're calling it the sideline blowdown is just like, when did that become a thing? And I want to say the first time we saw that, I'm going to have to give Grambling and Southern kind of credit for that, because I feel like we used to see that at the end of the Bayou Classic, like all the time. Like at the end of the halftime shows, we would see that. So I'm going to kind of give them credit for it. I don't know if they deserve credit, but I'm going to give them credit for it, because they're the first bands I can kind of remember doing that. And now it's a thing, which, if it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It depends on your crowd. For some people, it gets the crowd really amped up, but, it just depends. I can't say it's yay all the time, and I can't say it's nah all the time. But you can't use it to save your show. I will say that.
I agree.
Yeah, we I know we did it at Jackson State, and we had exit music. So when we came out after we did Rock the House, we had the exit music, and 9 times out of 10, a lot of the years I was there, it was Bad Mama Jamma. You remember Foxy Brown came out, Bad Mama Jamma. So we would come off to that and then bow and then play like the last phrasing on the end on the sidelines. But yeah, it definitely evolved where now people playing like the whole chorus on the sideline. Yeah, I don't know how I feel. Sometimes it get me crunk, but other times it doesn't. But I ain't gonna lie, I like it when like if I was out there, I would probably do something like crazy. Like jump. Like
See, I'm from that era. I'm from that era where my director was one of the Sargent brothers, so we would march off the field and to the coda of whatever the drill song was, and end it musically. It made musical sense to end the show like that.
Right.
So we never got to do the ignorant activities on the sideline. But I feel it. I'm there for it, man. I like it.
That's what's up. Shout out to people in the chat room. Hold on, I got to give a round of applause. There's some folks in the chat room, Bridget. Couple of people. I just now looked and read some of this stuff. But Brother Snipes. Brother Snipes.
To get stuff together.
Give yourselves another round of applause. Brother Snipes and Brother Nalls in the chat room. If y'all are listening live, y'all join the chat room. We got 2 celebrities up in there. And they talking stuff. You know, Bridget, they, giving you a hard time. So, you have to.
They done called me on air, so they want to give me a hard time. First of all, they're bullying me, as they always do. Somebody better not say nothing bad about Miles. They tried to jump me at a conference, Midwest. They tried because they didn't like one of my comments that I made. Y'all know I'm going to tell the truth. Look at he telling some he unsubscribing, like he listens anyway. Snipes, don't play with me.
Boy, y'all are funny. Yeah, I talked to Brother Snipes on the phone, man, and he said, yeah, man, we listened to Bridget, and we thought Bridget went to, like, Southern or something. We were scared of Bridget, you know what I'm saying? And then when they said Morgan State, I said, oh, man, you didn't say that to Bridget now, did you? You didn't say nothing wrong with Morgan State now. So, yeah, they funny down there. But, yeah, we chopped it up.
They're cutting up in the chat room.
They sure are. But, yeah, we chopped it up with them, Brother Nalls and Brother Snipes. You guys can go check out those interviews. But, yeah, I guess all in all, I think Kentucky State showed up. Like, they didn't just roll over for Miles. And they defended the homecoming court well. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't sure. Because, a lot of times, unfortunately, like, a band is really good one year, and then, like, they can't progress on it because the students aren't handling their business in the classroom or whatever else is happening. So I know with smaller bands that happens a lot, so I was worried about Kentucky State, but they showed up. They definitely are there. So shout out to them for what they for their performance. Bridget, what you think about Miles? So now we got the brother in the chat room. What you think about the Purple Marching Machine?
Get them together. Let me get Prof Snipes and those together so they can leave me alone tonight. So let me tell you, Miles have come, honestly, they've come a long way. Not that they care about my opinion, but they've come a long way. So Miles they do their traditional opening, which is, cool. I know it's their traditional thing. I like to see them do something different, but it's, it is what it is. So they started with the Can You Feel It fanfare. Let me tell you, Can You Feel It is probably that's like my band head tune. I love to hear a band play that. The fanfare, so they just started with the little fanfare. I thought it was a little slower than it should have been, but hey, whatever. But I thought they played it well. I like the floating M. But they have to be careful to maintain the design that marching at 8 to 5 because it started to shift a little bit. And, we see stuff like that, band heads. We see stuff like that. But I thought the floating M was pretty nice. The dancer tune I thought was okay. Skill-wise, I struggle with Miles Auxiliary. That's the area of the band that I just kind of be like, but it was okay. I thought the dancers, they were just okay. It's a smaller squad than I've seen before, so they kind of stand out when something kind of goes wrong. When you have like a few people, if you make a mistake, it's going to stand out because it's only like 5, 6, how many ever people it is, versus when you have a squad of 12, 14, it has a different kind of feel. So you have to kind of be tight in all that you're doing. So let's go to Practice What You Preach. I thought that was a nice piece for them and a nice trombone feature. I hate the song because Howard plays it, and anything Howard does, I don't like. Y'all know that. That's our rival. I don't like them. And they wear it out. They've done it so many times, but I like the arrangement. I thought it was a nice arrangement of Practice What You Preach. I thought they played it well. I thought the trombones played it very well. It was a really a nice touch. My biggest critique, and she's hating on the dancers. I ain't hating on y'all dancers, Snipes. Shut up.
I was about to say, don't look at the chat, Bridget, because it's gonna distract you too much.
Look at. I got my phone sitting here. Somebody said Howard is poo. They are. Anyway, but even when Howard was kind of at their height, that was their thing to do. That was their, like, they used to do it with like some tuba players or something, whatever. That was their thing to do. But whatever, we ain't talking about Howard because they do suck. Anywho, so we're going to talk about, so Snipes and I kind of talked about this, man. Every band that I'm seeing now is struggling with piccolos and tuning. And I get it because the weather changes. most of the instruments aren't the highest quality, but boy, oh boy, that piccolo tuning kind of stands out. Especially, I heard it especially during the fifth quarter, but even during the short points, I was just like, I kind of cringed a little bit. And it wasn't just, that's not just Miles, that's just an issue we have it all together. It takes a minute to train the ear on piccolo because their range is so much higher and the tuning issues are so, it is what it is, but it just takes some, it takes some work. Bryan, no, shut up. Either way, Miles, I thought it was a nice show. They definitely took halftime. To me, I definitely give halftime to Miles. It wasn't their homecoming. They were fresh and they should have been fresh. They should have been the better band. But overall, I did like Miles' show.
Yeah, one thing when you were talking about them, I ain't gonna lie, I love the intro. Like, I don't know what it is. I said it last week too.
It's so hype.
And I feel like they kind of slow it down a little bit, and then they be like, and then, you know what I'm saying? And then they jump to both sides. I'll be hyped. That be getting me hyped, y'all. So I like that intro. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the Sopranos. They were on 6 years. They didn't change the intro ever. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you ain't got to change the intro. So, Miles, that's tight. That's dope what y'all do. I like the intro. Ernest, what you think about Miles, the halftime show, man?
Man, I'm like you. I love that intro. And I would say, though, like that's like one of my favorite college band intros, actually, Miles' intro. But it kind of threw me off when they did the intro, and I was so hyped. And then they stopped and did the intro to Can You Feel It? That kind of threw the rhythm of the show off. Mm-hmm. So then I was kind of wishing that maybe they had, instead of doing the Talking Out the Side of Your Neck traditional intro, maybe they should have came on and did the Can You Feel It fanfare, and then went right into the drill. And, that would have been more driving, so to speak, but kept the show moving. But other than that, I really love that introduction, the way they came on the field, man. The drill was on point. I did notice that when they got into the big M formation, we had some phasing issues, and some one half of the M got a little off with the other M musically. But other than that, man, the show was on point. The dance routine, I like the fact that they did not do a dance routine. And, most bands, when they're the visiting band, especially at another band's homecoming, they will cut up the drill, cut up the everything, and save the dance routine. So I respect Snipes, man, for actually playing, and saving the concert selection. Because a lot of bands wouldn't have done that. They would have just did a little short drill, and then went to the dance routine. Mm-hmm. And I respect that he came out there, he did the drill, he did his girls, and then he did a concert number and came off. So and they kind of did that at the Honda as well. So maybe that's just something that this systemic in their program, that they like to do, cutting the dance routine. I don't know, but whenever most bands are under the gun with time, that's one of the things they don't cut. And I respected him for doing that. The trombone choir was dope. I really liked the glissandos in the tenor line. That was actually the best thing that occurred at the entire halftime, in my opinion. That selection, that tune. And I guess that tune has a special spot for me because it was the first song that I arranged when I was in undergrad in Ronald Sargent's arranging class. And I wrote that song, and he tore it to pieces. So, I had red marks all over my paper. But this was a really, really good arrangement, man. I was really impressed with that arrangement. And kudos to the arranger. I don't know who do y'all know who does the arranging for Miles? Do they have one person, or is it just like they do different?
I think his brother Nalls.
I think Nalls does it.
Yeah, one of the brothers cutting up in the chat room.
In the chat room,
cutting up in the chat room. Yeah, he in there. Yeah, brother Nalls.
Okay, big ups to the arranger, man. I respect that. That was dope. But yeah, I was impressed with that and the musicality overall. And I'll touch more on that when we talk about the fifth.
Oh,
But yeah, W to Miles, man. Miles took it easily. Yeah, just band fundamentals. Balance, sound, musicality, contrast, and sound. They had that. So
Yeah, I agree. I thought that I thought Kentucky State showed up. It's hard to like beat Miles in a halftime show. You know what I'm saying? Just numbers alone, it's hard. And plus, they come with that attitude. You know what I'm saying? So I liked it. Just to piggyback on what both of y'all were saying, I appreciate what Brother Snipes and them are doing because it's kind of like innovative. So it's like they're leading the charge. Another thing, too, is that they didn't have that much of a drill. They just were out there kind of using it for transitions. So they had to transition from the intro. They went into the M and then transitioned to the dance routine. I'm sorry, to the dance feature. Then the trombones. And then, a little bit more of a transition. And then they came off. So I appreciate it. They are kind of like being innovative where they're cutting out a lot of maybe, I don't want to say dead weight, but like Bridget was saying, and I think we talked about that 2 years ago, just about, okay, is the dance routine tight? Like, is it just anybody just out there? And then plus we starting to get kind of old where we don't even know the name of the songs anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if the tuba part is dope, like, we'll be like, oh, okay, well, oh, that's what I thought about. The chicken kick. Hold up, y'all. Let me get a chicken kick a round of applause.
What chicken kick? What are you talking about?
So, Bridget, I meant to say it's about Central State and just dance in general. The chicken kick is hot. Give another round of applause. The chicken kick, y'all. I have seen.
What the heck is the chicken kick?
Well, I have no idea. It just sounds country as heck. So
I don't know the name. I might have to look up the name of the dance. Hold on, let me get on my camera here. But it's when they be doing they be kicking. It look like a chicken. You know what I'm talking about, Bridget?
No.
Oh, come on, Bridget. You know the dance I'm talking about. Central State did it. And I think Norfolk State did it when we looked at them at the Ballad of Bands. And it's like where you got like 1 foot up and you like kicking. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about. That is like the hottest dance right now.
Hottest dance.
Man, Central State did it.
Are you talking about that little thing the kids be doing with the kicking their foot? Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Hold on, let me see what you're doing, Bridget.
This one?
Yeah, there you go, Bridget. On that
the chicken kick.
Chicken kick, is it? What is that called?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I caught the chicken because it looked like it's a chicken, and it's you know what I'm saying. But I saw it on the Drake video. But 901 Shelby Drive, looking like that sound hot. And then they were doing that.
If you call that dance the chicken kick one more time, we're gonna revoke your podcast license. Like, really? Did you call that the chicken kick?
The chicken kick.
Somebody in the chat room. Someone in the chat room, y'all. What's the name of that dance? Brother Snipes know.
Shooting.
Somebody know.
Shoot. The shoot. Shoot something. The shoot dance. That's what they said in the chat room. They said it's called the shoot.
Okay. Well, hey, break me down.
Nobody know what shooting is, Travis. We grown folks. We don't do that mess.
I just know it looked like kind of chicken. I just know that if
the shoot. Everybody said the shoot.
The shoot.
No. Lord have mercy. Somebody to go to bed.
I just know that gets hella house. It's kind of like when we was in the 90s and people started like crip walking and they would like go down and like wipe their shoes. It was like, oh, that was like, so that's what the chicken or the shoot, whatever it is. The Central State did it. But I said all that because I don't know what else is going on in the dance routine. So like, even when they do like the 90s shows or they go back and they're like, hey, let's go back. And the songs I recognize, I still don't know like the dances that they doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just know that they're like supposed to be big.
They don't know the dances, bro. They don't know nothing about that.
So yeah, I guess all in all, it's a long way of saying it, but I appreciate Miles for being like more efficient in their show. I guess that's the best way to say it. Like, they're cutting out a lot of stuff that they don't need. Like, do we need to have this? Is it necessary? You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate what they're doing. So I gave it to them, too, just because, you know, like I say, it's hard to compete against Miles. But I like what Miles is doing. But Kentucky State had a good show.
You said it's hard to compete against Miles?
I think so. I think I think them just because that attitude and that sound, like it's got that edge with it. It's a little bit like Southern a little bit, but it's just like you're not ready to go against them and like blow face to face with them. You know what I mean? You gonna have to have some musicality with you because they gonna make you come out your element and blow you out the water. You know what I'm saying?
They've come a long way. Remember when I first reviewed them? What was that, like 2015 when they got mad at me?
Yeah, yeah.
Their sound really has developed, and I do like the direction that I see Miles going. Their sound is really developed. I'm not saying they're there yet because Snipes would be sitting there thinking his band there. You ain't arrived, Snipes, but the band has come. The band has come along. I really do like the direction they're going in, and they're making bands play, and I like bands who make bands play. I don't like, everybody know I'm not a huge Southern fan, and I don't like Southern because most bands who see them, they feel like they need to go into a blowing match, and all musicality is lost.
Right.
But I like bands like a Miles. I like a band, there's several bands that kind of make people play. I like bands who make people play.
But you know what? Like, with this matchup, though, I didn't even think of, initially I thought about numbers, but after I heard both bands play, that kind of disappeared. I really didn't give Miles the nod just because they were the bigger band. No, I thought that, I thought K-State really made them play. I don't think Miles, well, I don't want to get into the fifth yet. We'll get there. But I think K-State, man, when they came on after Miles, and that the home crowd wanted to give it up for the home band anyway. Sure. But when they struck up, I mean, that crowd went crazy, and it was deserved, man. They had a huge sound to be that small. Mm-hmm. I respect that.
I would like to see them match up on a non-homecoming day.
Yeah.
Conversation could go in a different direction.
That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up, y'all. So, I think we pretty much all agree. It sounds like we pretty much kind of said the same thing. So let's go ahead and talk about the fifth. Let's go and do the last commercial break, and we'll wrap it up with the fifth for this, and then have our closing shots and everything. I'm watching the clock, Bridget.
Come on here.
I know. I'm watching the clock here. So let's go ahead. Let's get all the rest of the commercials out the way, so we can wrap up and talk about the fifth here on the 90 Degree Show. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show, and we'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial. You look down there at the, hold on, let me bring up the other camera. There you go. Look at the bottom. You got the ticker at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? You got your stuff going there, your information showing up. We got your commercial going on, and then we tag all of the information in all our episodes. So when we retweet them out or we put on Facebook, we have your business and all that stuff as part of the thing to help you get with the mentions and all of that on Twitter and Facebook. So shout out to you. Much love to all our sponsors, doing great things and providing a great avenue for our craft to grow. All right, let's go ahead and get the rest of these bills out the way, y'all. You listen to the 90 Degree Show. Thanks for listening.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Beard from the Marching Podcast. Is your school, club, or organization looking for high-quality decorated apparel to outfit your students, staff, club, or team? Tired of the same old boring white t-shirt? Are you in charge of the upcoming fundraiser or special event but don't really have time to troll the internet for ideas or compare products? SAY can help with design and product selection. We can even assist with ideas on conducting an effective fundraising program. SAY can help you save time and get your message heard. So call 1-800-975-3156. SAY Marketing and Promotions.
Give your brand a voice.
If you're thinking about buying or selling real estate in the Southern California area, please contact Kevin Peete of RE/MAX PATRIOTS. He will meet and exceed all of your needs. You can contact Kevin at 951-858-5942. That's 951-858-5942. Or you can email Kevin at
KP sells homes at sbcglobal.net. That's KP, his initials, Kevin Peete, KP sells homes, all one word, at sbcglobal.net. Thanks again.
You want the best barbecue around? SmokeeOs coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. SmokeeOs know what's good for you. You want the best barbecue around? SmokeeOs coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. SmokeeOs know what's good.